Hey guys, welcome back to True Crime Desk. I'm Richard, and I'm here today with my sister and co-host Maria. So how's it going?
Going good. How are you?
Doing really good. Now
Good.
today, if you can obviously you can tell by the thumbnail, we're gonna do our monthly review where we go over a few cases that we came across. I don't know if all these cases actually happened in this month and finished. I think a couple of them came to conclusions, but it's some that have been in the news, so that's what we're gonna do. Isn't that right?
Correct.
All right, so we're gonna work on the first case. I think it's a fatal dog attack, which happened in Texas. I don't know if that's not near you. I don't think it's in Fort Worth. Were you in Fort
N-
Worth?
No, I'm actually in Hewitt, but no, that wasn't near me.
Yeah. Okay. It's in San Antonio, I think.
Yes, yes, that's
All
that's
right.
down further.
All right. So let's go ahead and start with this one. It's on February 24th, 2023. 81-year-old Ramon Najera. He was tragically attacked by two dogs in his neighborhood, which he lived in San Antonio. See, it's San Antonio. So then the two dogs were American Staffordshire Terriers. They were not pit bulls. I know a lot of people say they're pit bulls, and they're often confused for the same thing. But according to my information and my research, they were not pit bulls. It says Ramon was he was out visiting one of his friends when he was attacked. So it's pretty sad, that's for sure.
It's very sad, and honestly, it doesn't surprise me. Here in Texas, a lot of people don't take care of their animals, and it's very sad because this is wasn't shouldn't have happened.
Yeah, it was really bad. From what everything I heard, it was pretty bad, and it just seemed like there was no remorse. But we'll get on to that part. Now, 81-year-old Ramon, he lived in San Antonio, as I said, and he was a U.S. Army Forces veteran. So he survived by his wife, their kids, their grandkids, and their 14 great grandchildren. So there's quite a legacy there, and he's not going to be able to see any of that anymore.
Right, right.
Anything else? Right,
Oh,
right.
sorry. I didn't even know. I thought you were going to say some more. Well, actually, apparently this wasn't unusual in this neighborhood, and they're having a lot of problems with other people not taking care of their dogs, and they had called in and complained many times, but nothing was ever done. There was other people that got bit,
Yes.
but I remember watching the video, and one of the people that work at the place for the animals said, well, the bites weren't bad, so they weren't bad enough. Um, and that's unacceptable to me.
And just a heads up, if you we are struggling with the internet, it's not cooperating today. So if we have glitches, I apologize and bear with us because
Yeah.
we can't control that. So we've tried multiple times. Now his wife, who's 74, her name is Jamie, and she was attacked as well. But she, lucky for her, she survived. And it's surviving that as tough as it is, but especially at an older age. You know,
Right.
as you said, then there was many reports, and the neighbors they were warned many times. They did nothing about it. They said they called the city about the dogs for months and even years. And and according to all the city records, that's all true. So they, like you said, they didn't do anything. They didn't seem to even care.
Right. And I heard that the sister, I think she lived there as well. She was threatening the neighbors that were complaining. She was
Right.
threatening. So people were afraid to say stuff, but they did because there was a lot of people that came out and said they have been calling in and no one's
Right.
doing anything about it.
Exactly. That's
Right.
exactly right. Yeah, they didn't seem like they cared too much. So those two were, yeah, like you said, I think his name is Christian Moreno. He was sentenced. He was charged, and his wife, I have her name here. And she
Abilene.
was charged.
Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
her name here somewhere. And his sister, I'm not sure what happened with the sister as far as sentencing goes. I didn't see that, but I know Christian Moreno, he was sentenced to 18 years, which is quite a bit. And
Right.
I noticed on it looked like he threw a gang sign when he was in the courtroom after he was sentenced.
Oh, I didn't see that. I did not. I missed that.
Yeah,
No, apparently
I'm not
it
sure
was a plea. So did a plea
exactly.
deal.
Right,
So,
exactly. Yeah, it was a plea deal. Yeah, that was his charge. He got sentenced to 18 years. And what's Abilene Schneider was his wife,
mhm.
according to everything, his wife with a different last name, which is, I'm not going to get into that. It's irritating to me, but anyway, she was sentenced to 15 years. And like I said, his sister, she was arrested, but I didn't see, did you find out what happened to the sister? What she was
I
charged with
didn't,
everything?
no, I didn't hear anything about it. No, they're actually charged with that. They did a plea deal, but they're also the judge said that if they get like when they get out early,
Yeah.
parole,
Can't have any
that they're
dogs or
not allowed
anything.
to have any animals anymore.
Right.
Correct, correct.
Right.
And they're not allowed to go in those neighborhoods as well. She literally mentioned the street that they lived on onto another street as well. So they're not allowed to go over there either.
I think his sister's name is Desiree Marie Conardo. Conardo. Conardio. I don't know how to say that.
Yeah,
The names. I can't get the names of it. I
yeah.
just can't say the
No,
names. But
I didn't
yeah.
hear what happened with her. I didn't hear it at all.
Right. But that's her name. And like you said, I didn't hear what happened with her.
And that's
So,
pretty steep. What happened with them is pretty steep. I haven't heard that before where they, they got that harsh of a sentence, regarding a dog, killing somebody. So that's
yeah, it's
huge.
like you said that the sister was supposedly threatening everybody right afterwards.
Mhm.
So, class act. Seems like they went. Now, I don't know if you saw the victim impact with the wife. Did you see that?
I didn't. I was kind of afraid to watch it, to be honest with you. I think I would have been in
Yeah.
tears.
I've seen a few of them. Yeah. I've seen a few of them. This one was really heart wrenching. I'm telling you, if you don't have a strong stomach or whatever you want to say, don't watch it. But it was heartbreaking, absolutely heartbreaking. She was just absolutely devastated. Her name's Jamie, by the way, his wife. But
Yeah,
yeah, it was it,
she was fighting for her life as well. I remember when
yes,
it first
exactly.
happened, she was fighting for her life, and thank goodness she survived. But you know,
That's right. She was. So that's all we have on this case, right?
yeah, that's
He got
about it.
18, she got 15. Yeah, they can't have any
Yeah,
dogs, no firearms, any of that stuff when they get out. It's
right,
it's pretty bad. But I think that's it I have on that. It's like you said, it was a plea, so there was no trial, and this was a
right.
few days ago. As of the recording of this, was a few days ago when they accepted the charges. And yeah, like I said, he definitely. I don't know if it was a gang sign, but he was throwing hand signs up to someone in the audience and stuff. So I don't know exactly if it's a gang sign, but there
Wow,
was no remorse, disrespectful right to the very end.
that's just terrible.
All right. Okay, so we're gonna move on to the next case. All right, so the next case we're gonna go over Laurie Shaver, right?
Correct.
Okay. So you have any info on her? Because I do, but
I do. I have information. This Laurie Shaver is a woman that she is accused of killing her husband and bury him in the backyard underneath a fire pit, I believe. Um, she made up a bunch of stories about him just, her and him arguing and then him leaving and not coming back. And so
right,
it pretty much starts with people started wondering, well, wait a minute, where is he? Family members, this, that, and the other. But honestly, his friend that he was really close to was the one that contacted the police um, 2 years after he was missing. Like, wait a minute, something's wrong. Something doesn't feel right. And he contacted the police. So I'll let you talk more about it because then I can kind of
right.
jump in with that, what I know too.
I have a little bit of info here.
Yeah.
I have okay, yeah. It says in 2015, Michael Douglas Shaver, he stopped showing up for work, and no one had seen him and heard from him for a while. So at first, Lori she told multiple stories, different stories that Michael had ran off with another woman, and that he was living in Georgia, away from the family. Now, Michael's family didn't believe any of this, of course, because Laura kept saying it. He was very close. He was very close to his children, and he wouldn't leave his kids. So they didn't believe it. It didn't make any sense. But she kept
Right.
saying he was gone. So over the years, the suspicions grew, but there was no solid evidence that Michael had. He was just gone. They didn't know where he was. So it says Laura moved with her. She moved on with her life, and she even started a new relationship. House. What do I have? The house and the property, however, yeah, became that. Now years later, the house they wanted to put like you said, a fire pit in their backyard or something like that.
Mhm.
So they started digging it up. So in 2018, they found there was a shocking discovery. Police received tips that led them to Laura's property. Now I think that was the brother you were talking about, or no,
No,
his
that was
friend.
actually his friend. It was his friend. Yeah. That he was
Yeah.
close to for years. Yes.
So after digging up the backyard, they found human remains under a concrete slab, and dental records confirmed the remains were Michael Shaver. So they didn't know they didn't wonder where he was anymore. They were just trying to figure out what happened to him. So
Right.
that's pretty much a summary of the case. Is that she said he took off, and they found him. I guess, like you said, she was part of building. She was in the backyard digging up as well. So
Well, she posted
her
it on
claim,
Facebook. Oh, look at I just put in, this fire pit, blah blah blah.
right,
She remarried this gentleman that she was with when she wasn't even really divorced. I mean, she told so many stories that were untrue, that he left, and she said that he was stalking her, telling people he was stalking her. She was using his social media and Facebook and stuff and
to act
posting
like he
things
was
to
still alive.
people. Yes, and people were like, "Wait, that doesn't sound like him." And she was using his bank account. He got a check sent to him from his work that he quit. Well, that she told them she was him and that he quit. And she took that check and put it in his account, fraudulently, and then used it and bought herself things and had it sent to her house. And she did all these things that all came out in the trial.
Right.
But she was a
Yeah.
piece of work. Piece of
And
work.
she was arrested until 2020. And that was 5 years after he had disappeared. So
Right. And if
it
it
was a
wasn't
lot.
for the friend, that would
So
never
crazy.
happen. Mm-hmm. Yep. Um,
Yeah. Did you see that? Did you actually watch part of the trial, or
I did watch it and I watched the
did you?
the actual verdict as well. But she first,
Did you
okay,
see how
so
her?
did I say her what?
Go ahead.
I was gonna say that um so at first she goes on TV, or I think it might have been YouTube, with her lawyer sitting there talking and saying that they're trying to get money to help her with her defense, and she didn't do it, but and then the lawyer alluded to it was some man with the so and so name. It was a guy she had dated, one of the guys she had dated. Then she turns around and says that, oh no, my daughter did it. My 7-year-old daughter did it. Um, and the girl was 14 now, I believe, or something. And she literally went on the stand and she said she did it. And then mother
Right.
went on, and Laurie went on the stand as well. Oh boy, that was something. What'd you think about that?
Well, the daughter said she shot him, but she didn't say she K'd him. She said she shot him and he didn't, and then her boyfriend finished him off. So
Right,
that's what she
right,
said. Her
right.
boyfriend with the long hair, and he was all
Yep,
suave and everything. That guy,
yep.
see?
And then he came
Yeah.
on the stand and he talked, and his wife as well. And now she sent the wife flowers, roses or something like that. And it said roses are red, violets are blue. Um, your husband's, something or other. And, pretty much, and then acting like she was Mike, the husband that had,
Oh,
wasn't alive anymore, and said, oh, we need to talk, just letting her know that her husband was cheating on her because he had told her
right.
that he didn't want to be there anymore. So she was on the stand as well. Can you imagine that? You happen to be in a trial on the stand saying what happened to you because your husband cheated on you. I mean, oh, I couldn't even imagine. Couldn't even imagine.
Yeah, I didn't actually see that part. I saw him, and
Yeah.
I seen Laurie on the stand, which was classic, like you asked me earlier. Yeah, it was pretty unique. She, sobbing and claiming she was abused and pinned down. I'm not saying she was or she wasn't, but I'm just saying that's what she said. She was abused, and her daughter basically came in and saved her, and then he came in and finished him off, and
Yeah. I
you
didn't
know, and
believe her
then
at all.
and then she said she left. I think she said she left, and when she came back, he was just gone, and she didn't know where he was. So the boyfriend supposedly got rid of him, and he was gone. She never asked any questions and everything. I'm
But
like, come on.
she also told the boyfriend. No, I'm sorry. I think it was her husband, the one she remarried. I believe it was him. She told him it's not that he is missing. He's no longer walking on this earth. Something bad happened and the body is on the property. That's what she said. So yeah, I don't understand how
Now,
she could think that she could get on the stand and, you know, bamboozle her way of, telling stories and get out of this. So I can't believe she thought that she could
yeah,
do that.
right, and so she was found guilty of second degree M and accessory after the fact, but
Yep.
she hasn't been sentenced yet.
No, she hasn't. Not
I
yet.
think it's September supposed to be. Do you think? No, not this is September. I think it's
I
supposed
think
to be in October.
I think yeah, maybe October. I'm not really sure, but yep, yeah. So yeah, they took her right away and took her fingerprints and everything, and she acted shocked, which was crazy to me. But
Yeah, it's like you said, the phone records and all that stuff. She was writing. She was acting like he was alive the whole time.
yeah, yep,
Yeah, so that's
yeah.
like, yeah, I was
Selling his
trying to,
property, everything, you know.
yeah. Now it was, she faced a minimum. She's faced a minimum of 25 years to life max, and it says is sentencing is scheduled for November 25th of 2024.
Oh, okay, November.
So,
Okay.
so it's coming. So a couple months yet.
Well, that's interesting to me, and we'll get on the other. It'll make more sense with our next things we're going to talk about. But to me, that the time doesn't really match the crime. And when we get to the other,
Yeah,
case,
sometimes that's
I'll
the case.
mention it why I say that.
Yeah. Once again, I apologize if it's glitching because it is on my end. So it's just the internet. It's the way it works. We
Right.
can't control that. So I apologize. But yeah, it's like every state's different. Every jurisdiction is different, and they're drastically different sometimes in what they sentence people to. All right, so that's it on this one, I think, right? So we have to wait for the
Yeah.
sentencing. We'll probably
Correct.
talk about that later.
Correct.
So what's the next? What's the next one you want? What's the next one we're gonna do?
Well, there's Carly Gregg.
Carly Gregg. Okay, so we can. We'll, up next, we're gonna talk about Carly Gregg. 15-year-old named Carly Gregg was from. She's from Mississippi. She's on trial for killing her mother, an attempted killing of her stepfather. She called. She called her stepfather after she killed her mom and acted like her mother and asked what time he was going to be home. She basically said, "When are you going to be home, honey?" And according and acting like her mother and trying to set him up basically. And then when he came home, she shot him and it went through his collarbone. So she killed her mom, called her stepdad, acting like her mother. And then when he came home, she shot him in the shoulder, went through his collarbone. Now he survived, but the weird thing is he's 100% behind her. And there's video footage of her in the house walking around. There's also video footage of her running out of the house after she shot at her father. And so that's what she's on trial for. So what do you
Correct.
think about this?
It was hard to watch. I actually did see the video of her, and from my understanding, her and her mother were having an argument on the way home from school, wherever they were coming from, because she had been a friend. Her friends were worried about her, so I believe they talked to the mother, said they were worried about her behavior. She'd been smoking pot, that the mother didn't know, and things like that, that she wasn't acting herself. So apparently the mom and her were getting, arguing on the way home. They get home, go in the house, and it's believed that the mother went into her room and started looking through her things, because she looked through her backpack as
Right.
well. And so the video shows her taking the dogs out. She had two beautiful dogs, took the dogs out. She's out there for, a couple minutes. She comes back in with the dogs, and then she kind of sneaks around the corner and looks like toward where I guess their mother was. And she walked that way for a second. Then she turned around and went the other direction. And then she comes back and she looks around the corner and she has something behind her back.
Right.
And then she proceeds to walk back down there, and you could literally hear her doing what she did. Now I thought it was the mother that screamed when she shot her, because it was three times. I'm not sure, because the trial, it seemed like they were trying to say she was screaming like a crazy person. It was her screaming, but I thought it was, I'm not sure. So, but apparently she did it three times. Two were on the side of the head. The other one was under the chin. So, I mean, she literally like executed this
Oh,
mother,
really?
Then she walks back out and she
Yeah, I didn't
comes.
hear that part.
Correct. And she walks back out and goes into, it was like the kitchen area. And she walks in, she has it behind her back. She walks in like she knows the camera's looking at her or something. And she sits down like
Yeah.
at a stool, like at your counter, and you could hear her kind of set it behind her. She gets on her phone and she starts texting her friends. And she starts texting her friends to have her friends come over. And one of her friends comes over, and a little bit after that, and gets there and she asked her friend, has she ever seen a D body, unalive body. And
Crazy.
she says no, and she literally took her in there. And apparently she had staged from her mother. She had put her arms like across her body and put a towel over her head. And what I don't understand is how come the girl didn't like call the police right away? But anyway, um, and then you're right,
Yeah,
she
that's
did.
always strange.
She and after I believe that happened. No, that must have been before the dad came because
Yeah, it was. It was all before
yeah,
he got home.
because then it did show her on her phone texting and stuff, and so she did use her mother's phone. It was her mother's phone she used and said, "Oh, when you coming home, honey?" You're
His
right.
mother's phone.
Yes,
That's right.
you're right.
Yeah, it's
And
it's strange.
yeah, and he said on the stand in the trial that when he opened the door, the shot went off right away, and that he said she looked like she was scared, like out of her mind, and was like screaming. So he said he thought there was an intruder in the house, is what he thought. That's what he said on the stand.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
but then you could hear the 911 call when he called the police, and
Yeah.
oh
He
my
said that she shot him.
gosh, the way he sounded, oh my, it just broke my heart.
The thing is, I saw him on the stand, and it's hard for people to understand how he can. It's his stepdaughter, by the way. We can remember that,
Correct,
and
correct.
how he can actually defend her after she shot him, because he clearly said on the recording 911 that she shot him.
Mhm.
But then he's also saying things like, she didn't look like herself. Her eyes look like this. She looked like that. She looked like that. And it's funny to me. To me, it seems suspicious because that kind of goes exactly to when they have their expert come and they say what some of the signs are when you have this particular issue. Is they
Right.
do this, they do this, and it's almost exactly like he said
Hmm.
that. Well, their eyes will look this way and their face will look like that. It just was too convenient for me that he was using these particular words and the ways to describe her that
Right.
actually fit with the guy later on. It says when she had her mental breakdown or whatever it was. So to
Correct.
me, I didn't buy that. I thought he was trying to cover for her for whatever reason. I'm not blaming him or anything. I'm just saying that's my opinion.
Right.
That's
Well,
what I thought.
the defense stated that in her closing argument, she had stated that the girl um like had issue like mental issues, and she
Yeah.
was having mental issues, and the parents knew, but they kind of weren't acknowledging it, and then they put her on medication, and she was alluding to the medication as what made her do this, that she was hearing voices and all
They
these
always do.
different things, right? And someone on the stand, a doctor said, if you don't stabilize the mood first with an antidepressant, no, then the mood first, then antidepressant will make things worse. So you're supposed to deal with the mood first before you put them on an antidepressant. I'm going to say from my personal experience, I don't anymore, but I did take medication for a short while. And I don't like what medicine does to you. It makes you a different person, this and that. So I struggle with the whole thing, because it's like they say she was this wonderful, perfect girl, but I struggle with the whole thing. I really, really do. Is she a little off? Because apparently her father, her blood father is bipolar, and she's, worried that she was going to be that way. Her mom was worried that she was going to become that way.
Yeah. But
Um,
the thing is, I look at it like this. You can't, sorry. I look at it like
oh,
this. You
that's
can't
good.
have it both ways. You can't have it
Mm.
both ways. You can't claim that she has all these issues, but then when it comes to hiding evidence, it comes to running around, it comes to being real methodical with the phone calls and calling her
Mhm.
friends and all these things that are really planned out. A person is thinking clearly. Well, how's she doing all that if she can't think clearly? Because
Right.
they want to have their best of both worlds. So if
Yeah,
that's the
that's
case, then
true.
how was she able to do all that stuff then? She
It
wouldn't
was
have
very
been,
methodical. You are right about that. You are right
you know.
about that.
So you can't have it both ways.
So do you know what the end of the trial, there was a verdict, and
Yeah,
what
no,
yeah.
she's found guilty of first degree M
Yep.
and for attempted M and tampering and says tampering and with the evidence. She was found guilty on that as well. She was
Right.
sentenced to life without parole,
Yep.
which surprises me.
She
That
got
really surprised me.
right. She got two life sentences,
Yeah,
and then
plus 10.
plus 10 years.
Yep.
So that's why I was saying with the other. case we just talked about. So she got this huge thing in life. She
Right.
ain't getting out.
True.
She's what, 14, 15?
Well, you got to look at it like this. First off, I I'm not anybody's watching the videos before. I'm not I believe tough. I'm very tough on that. I don't like the paroles. I don't like people getting. I just don't. I'm very tough.
Hmm.
But I like to be fair too. And
Right.
I was shocked that she didn't get a chance at parole because she is so young. At least 25 years, 30 years, 38 years, and then a chance of parole because she's so young. So the fact that she at this point, they're giving her none was surprising to me, and I thought a little bit harsh. I think that she should get at least the possibility because she is so young, but it should be like 25 or 30 years. It should be a long time. But you got to remember there's two lives without parole in 10 years for tampering. And they have them, I think it's concurrent when they're all together, right?
Correct.
And so that
Correct.
means if they turn around and say, well, life is not life, it's only 15 or years or whatever, then that's 15 everything. That's not 15, 15, 10. It's 15 total
Yeah.
because they put everything together. So I'll be shocked if she's in there for life. I think that she's probably going to be out 18, 20, 25 years. Something's going to happen. She's going to get out at some point. But I think that
Uh,
she should have got a chance at parole. I think it's a little bit harsh, I
well,
think.
how can she get out if there's no parole?
I think because what they'll do is they'll redo the case, and then they're gonna say, well, there's no parole, but if you get life, it's not life nowadays. You only have to do a certain percentage. So if I would say all the cases are together and life is say it's just one life and it's considered life, but you only have to do a certain amount. There's no parole, but there's only a certain amount you're required to do. And it's 20 years or 25 years, that's what they consider life. It's not a parole, that's what they consider the sentence of life to be. That
Oh,
at that 25 years, that she could probably get out at that point, but they're going to put them all
oh,
together. So
right.
I think if they fight it, that she will. I mean, I could be wrong on it. I'm just saying. I think that she should have got a chance at parole, regardless. I think that should have given her at least a chance at 25 years, maybe because she is so young. And keep my eyes rare for me because I don't usually believe in any of that.
Right. Well, they need
So
to
it's pretty
definitely
tough.
check her mental state and make sure,
Yeah, definitely. But I'd be surprised if they don't win an appeal to where she can get some kind of parole. They'll break it down to where she gets some kind of parole or a possibility of parole. Everything else will probably stay the same. And whether she gets out or not, we don't know. But I think that they probably will be able to get it knocked down to where there's going to be a possibility of parole at some point. I
Well,
would
I just
imagine
thought
because
of
she's only
something.
14.
Right. I just thought of something. So was she charged as an adult then?
She must have been. Actually, that's a good question. She must have been. I didn't see that because
Yeah,
I
I didn't see
didn't.
that either.
I mean, I can't watch every single one of these all the way through. Either one of us can
Yeah.
because we actually have lives on top. Other than this, we have jobs. So it's hard to get every single part in. But yeah, they must have. If they now think about it, they probably did charge
Yeah,
her
with that harsh of a sentence, you would think that they did. Yeah.
because usually you don't get without parole when you're a minor. Usually
Yeah.
you don't get death no matter what, and you don't usually get without parole. I think, but like I said, every state is so different. I'll be
Well,
surprised at some point they don't give her some parole or possibility at some point
yeah,
because they still have to go for appeals and everything. This just happened.
correct. Yeah, it
So,
did just happen. Yes, it did. Yeah.
so it's a little odd. So that's about it on that one, right?
Yeah, that's about it.
Right. So what's next? What we're gonna do?
Um, it is now one section it says Rick Kamal,
Right.
Kamal, but then it also said Rakesh,
Yeah. His
Rakesh.
name is harder to say. If he goes by Rick, it's easier
Is
because
that
it
what it
is.
was?
It's
Okay, so
both.
that's what we're talking about.
All right. So we're gonna do that one next.
Yep.
Rick Kamal. He was born in 1966 and he lived in the state of Massachusetts. And Rick's father actually had a PhD in physical, a PhD in physics. He's a physicist. What's that say? He's
Physicist?
a physicist, yeah,
Hmm.
and read my own writing as usual. And he worked as a professor. In 1987, Rick graduated from Boston University College of Engineering, and he launched his career as a software developer. In his early 20s, he married a woman named Tina, and they worked together in a financial investment in Boston. And they lived in a 5-bedroom house in Mulberry, Massachusetts, and it's about 5 miles west of Boston. And this place is massive. So they were doing really good for them. They were doing financially, they were doing good. Let's just put it that way.
Correct, correct. Yeah, it was a mansion with 21 bedrooms. Did you know that?
Yes.
21 bedrooms. It was a $5 million mansion. It's weird to me. Someone needs a house that big when there's only three people, but okay.
Yeah. Now
Yeah,
in
the daughter.
2005, sorry,
Yeah, go ahead.
in 2005, they had a daughter named Ariana.
Mhm.
And in 2015, Rick was hired as a managing director, and chief technology officer at Harvard Business School Online. Well, that's a mouthful. Said in February 14th, 2019, Rick and Tina purchased it's a purchased image located on Wilson Way and Drive. What does that say? Wilson. I can't even read my own writing. They must have purchased a big house. They purchased, it says purchased image. So something didn't transfer right. They purchased a big house, big giant house, like you were saying, with all those bedrooms.
Right.
And it was on Wilson Way in Dover, Massachusetts.
Correct.
And so if you ever seen images of this place, it's huge. I might put some up there in the video. I don't know. The purchase price was $4 million. So out here in California, that's like a two-bedroom.
Right.
And yeah, pretty much what it is. These houses around me are going for $1.5 million easy,
Mm.
right? Where I live. Now they borrowed 3.8 million, but the loan was supposed to be repaid by the end of 2021 just to get that house. And that was just 2 years after they bought the house. That's pretty crazy. So that was
That
a big
is,
house you were talking about.
yeah, that is a big house. Sorry, I guess I didn't realize they had a little house first. Yes, that is an
Well, they had,
immaculate home, but that is this crazy amount of money to borrow and have to pay back within a couple of years. That's just crazy. So apparently, his family didn't know, but he was borrowing money left and right from his mother and his
yep,
brother.
that's right.
And I think he was just trying to keep up the look, of they, have this big house and all that stuff. But he
Right.
was in debt, borrowing, borrowing, borrowing. I mean, a lot. It was thousands at a time, and like 10,000 and things like that. Um, so apparently they were going to be evicted because he, didn't have the money to pay what he owed. So they're going to
Right.
be evicted. I believe it was the day of.
Yeah. Yeah. He
Um,
actually had a business. He started hearing about his business, a company he called,
oh
was it
no, I
called
did not.
Eden? I think it was called Eden Nova. And
Oh,
basically it's an educational technology company.
hmm.
And it basically was a scam, but there's actually images of him. I think he was on something like the Home Shop Network or something like that. Where he's promoting his book and stuff like
Oh,
that. He was talking about it. So it was, he had a couple different things going, but it was, like I said, it was a scam. So like you said, he's hiding money. So
yeah.
sometime in the spring of 2013, yeah, Rick was hired at Harvest. He was fired in 2019. That's the other thing, is he no longer worked for the Harvard Business School online. He was fired, and he didn't tell his wife. She kept thinking he was going to work,
Oh,
and he
wow.
wasn't.
Wow.
So that was one of the reasons he didn't have any money, because he didn't have that job anymore.
Correct.
He just leave the house, and she thought he was going to work
Mm,
or whatever he was doing. I don't know how much he left the house. He was doing it online.
right. Wow. I did not
You
know
know.
that. I did not
So it
hear
says on
that.
December 23rd, 2000. Sorry, we interrupting each other because the internet's terrible. So it's
No,
just
you're
like,
good. You're good.
I don't know when she's talking. I don't know when she's talking. She doesn't know when I'm talking, because they're going over each other over and over. On December 23rd, 2023, Rick visited his brother and gave him a life insurance beneficial information. On the next day, he added his brother to Tina's $1.25 million life insurance policy. And on Christmas Day, Rick and his family spoke to Tina's family in India and using FaceTime, and everything seemed to be normal. Didn't seem to no big deal. But on December 26th, Rick canceled plans to get together that was scheduled for the next day. He claimed that his wife and daughter had been hospitalized, and they had got sick by some shrimp. And then he called his daughter's boyfriend, and told him not to visit her at the hospital, and that he was texting her because she was too sick to use her own phone. Well, she actually left her phone at home, so that's why he was texting him. So, and then on December 27th, Rick told the owner of the house who was evicting him, as you mentioned, they're getting evicted,
Mhm.
that he would leave the keys in the house on the kitchen table. And so on December 28th, the day of the eviction, Rick had agreed to vacate the property by 4 p.m. And the real estate agent visited the mansion to pick up the keys. He left when he heard the alarm system go off as he opened the door, so he just took off. And later on that day, Rick's brother, his younger brother, stopped by the mansion to check on Rick. And this is the same brother that he borrowed that $150,000 from. Or he said he borrowed money from him.
Right.
And says just before 7:30 p.m., Rick's brother called 911 after finding Ariana's body in the bedroom. And when the police arrived, they searched the home and found the bodies of Rick, who was 57, his wife Tina, who was 50, and their daughter Ariana, who was only 18 years old. So that's pretty sad. This guy took them all out.
That's really sad. And he planned it all because he literally
Yeah.
left a note at the bottom stating, call, don't, call the police and make sure they go upstairs, and
Yep.
told which rooms and things. So he left, notes, and
Right.
yeah. And he had, used a pistol on himself. That he was in a bathtub and they found him in there. He had used a pistol, and he had done the same to the wife and daughter, all about money, all because of money. It's like, they want to be the Joneses, so to speak. It's like, it's to me, that's not that important. I'm sorry. That big, huge house, and, not that important versus your life.
Yeah, they always will use that same excuse that, oh, they wouldn't be able to, they'd be ashamed and we had to move out. They would prefer to be alive, I'm sure.
right. I mean, and here's the thing. Why take out your daughter and your wife? I don't understand people's mentalities. Like, you're the one messing up. You're the one not, doing what you should be doing,
Right.
and scamming and borrowing money and pretending you're something you're not. But why your beautiful daughter and beautiful wife? It makes no sense. Yeah,
Yeah, and if you can't trust your husband, who can you trust, right? And not be
exactly.
lying to you and trying to hurt you and
Yeah.
as far as your daughter being able to trust her own father,
Well, from my
you know.
understanding,
Just
there
like
was
you
a
said.
yeah. From my understanding, there was also after the fact a huge fight between the families because of the beneficiary being changed to him. It was instead of the wife. He took the wife out, and so there's this huge fight within the family. But I heard that it got settled. They settled somehow, but they didn't say how, on what. But it was settled between the families. But yeah, there was a big problem with that as well. But
Yeah,
just
like you said
sad.
when like you said when they arrived, there was a piece of paper in the house and it had a typed note and it indicated for the person who was scheduled to pick up the keys that day. They figured it was for him, but when the alarm went off, he just took off. And the message said, "quote It says, please note before entering, call the police to first check the third bedroom on the second floor. Each room will be marked by a white sheet of paper." End quote. So, like you said, he left a note there for the guy that was picking up the keys. But when he heard that alarm, he took off.
Right.
So it was later on, but his brother found that, you know.
It's
But it didn't take
crazy.
long for the police to realize that the three killings were done by Rick. So they pretty much considered his case closed. He used a Glock 22, which is chambered in 40 cal against all of them. And the pistol was unregistered, by the way. So as far as gun control and all this other stuff, you want to get a gun, you're going to get a gun. So it only
Right.
keeps people. We're not getting on that road. I'm not going down that road, but you know how that goes. So,
Yeah.
but the police found all kinds of electric evidence and cell phones and laptops submerged in the bottom of the pond out on the property.
Oh,
So,
wow.
so like I said, the police consider this case closed, and they determined that Rick acted alone. So that's pretty much where they're at on this one. This one is pretty much concluded and wrapped
Yes.
up and done. And it's really sad.
It's very
Daughter and his
sad.
wife were absolutely gorgeous. I
Oh,
mean,
they're
not that it matters.
beautiful.
It doesn't matter whether they're ugly or we can consider ugly or not. But I'm just stating the fact that they were beautiful and
They were beautiful.
looked like
Yeah.
they had everything going for them,
Yeah.
which they did. He didn't. Obviously, he was a loser, but that happens too much. They're weak and they're losers, and they take everybody out with them.
Right. Right.
Really sad. So, you have anything else on this one?
No, that's about it.
All right. So, what's the next one we're going to do?
The next one is Baldwin.
All right. That's on you.
Okay.
Go ahead and run with it.
Okay, the next one we're going to talk about is Alec Baldwin. He's in the news again. So actually not because of himself. So Carrie Morrissey, the prosecutor, is had motioned to reconsider the dismissal, which is absolutely insane because it was dismissed with prejudice. So I don't know why she doesn't understand what that means, but she, in my opinion, she has a vendetta for him. I really feel that way.
Yeah.
So she's doing all this stuff that's not even lawful. So she did that. So Alec Baldwin, they're asking for her to have to pay the attorney fees, and be
Yeah.
reimbursed because they're having to spend all this time reading all the things and stuff that she's doing when it is absolutely not even lawful. Sorry. Um, let's see what else.
Yeah. Words are
So
hard sometimes.
right, and then and the thing is,
You didn't hear what I said, huh?
yeah, it's not, yeah, it is. It's not just that, oh, she, didn't give the information about the bullets from the Tuskegee rounds. That wasn't just that. You had the Tuskegee
Yeah.
rounds, the report, a body cam video, and interview. All those things she did not disclose. And so it wasn't just one thing. And the court said that it was willfully done by her.
Yeah.
So
Willfully negligent.
another thing that happened, which is very interesting, was, remember the other lawyer that was helping the prosecutor? She was new, Arlinda Johnson. Well,
Yeah. She
Arlinda
resigned.
Johnson, remember she walked off and she left,
Yeah.
and then Morrissey went on the stand and stated, so she lied under oath because she stated that Miss Arlinda, excuse me, that she left because she didn't want, it was because she didn't want to have something talked about on the stand or something like that in that regard. But that wasn't the case. She left because she did not know about the Tuskegee rounds. And when she found out, that she told her that we need to dismiss the case. And Morrissey wasn't having it. And so she, Miss Landa Johnson, she filed an affidavit saying she did not know about the Tuskegee rounds. And she also stated that Miss Morrissey would not let her call or speak to the defense and let them know about these things. So that came out as well. So that right there shows you she literally lied on the stand. That's perjury. Um, so this is interesting. Once again, from Alec Baldwin case, like I said, it really doesn't have to do with what he's done, but he's in the news again.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what the judge does, because I haven't heard the rulings or anything, but it's just been a back and forth thing with this lady. I do think she has vendetta for him. Yeah, I really do.
Yeah. It's like third month videos. That's the third one we're doing, and everyone had Alec Baldwin in at some point. It's like, so that you let you run with it because Alec Baldwin is
Yeah,
he's my favorite. He's my favorite. I
he's
like
your
how much I
buddy.
like. Yeah, I know much I like him, right? I
Yep.
especially like his political views. I mean, I think he's
Oh
spot on.
God.
Yeah, he's like, yeah. But anyway, yeah. So I heard about it a little bit. I thought I'd let you do the check it out because I'm pretty much done with I'm done with this stuff. It's like, yeah, but I do agree with you though. I do agree with you. Like him or dislike him, I think that what was done was right as far as letting him dismissing it. It was done correctly, as we mentioned before. And I think she does have a vendetta for him. I agree.
I
She
mean, what part
definitely,
of dismiss with prejudice does she not understand? She works in court. She's a prosecutor.
yeah,
So I don't know. Is she losing it? I don't know. And she's also going after um Hannah, dealing with that too.
yeah,
So
yeah,
this lady, I personally think that she should be getting in trouble. I think that the courts, she should be in trouble in some fashion, lose her license. I don't know how it works, but something needs to be done because this is ridiculous. She's taking up the time in the
yeah,
courts. It's wrong. It shouldn't be allowed.
yeah.
But that's my
You would
opinion.
think that you would think after all the stuff that she all that happened, she got in trouble for that, she would kind of just hide and stay low, hoping she wouldn't get disbarred or in trouble.
Right,
But
right.
she's doubling down, man. She's going out. It's like, okay, she's going after the judge, and she didn't have any, I mean, come on, have any right to
Yeah.
do it. And then seeing the other girl, everybody knew why the other girl, sorry, I should say, the other prosecutor,
Mhm.
not the
Miss
girl,
Johnson.
I
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
remember her name. Yeah,
Yeah.
we all know why she left, because she has integrity, and she knew that
Right.
it should have been thrown out, and she wasn't going to do it. She said, I don't want a part of this because this is not right. This is not what that's not the right thing to do. That's, like I said, she has integrity, and she's a class act, that's for sure. So
Right.
for her to go
Right.
after her, so you're going to lose on that one, that's for sure. But yeah,
Exactly.
so that's it on that one, I imagine, right?
That's
And
all
for
I
now,
know
anyway, who
for
knows?
now.
All
That's
right,
all I
so I think
know.
we're done,
So
right?
that's
Maybe we
it.
actually end up getting a fifth one in there. So I don't think that will be in the thumbnail. There'll be a surprise. If you guys have watched all the way to the end, you get that surprise that if you go by the thumbnail, you're not going to see it, because I'm not putting Alex's face on the thumbnail. That's not going to happen. But anyway, we're finished, I think, right? I think
Yeah.
this is a long video. It's 50, almost an hour now. Hello?
That's pretty long.
Yeah. All right. Didn't know if you could hear me. You didn't say anything.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Yeah.
Okay, so hopefully the internet wasn't too bad. It was glitching quite a few times. Hopefully we didn't bore you and draw it out too long. We're just trying to get all the information, and hopefully my fantastic reading of my own words isn't too disrupting, because I'm so good at that. But yeah, I don't even know what that one. I don't even know what that word even ended up in there. But I can't blame on my writer, because I'm actually the one that does all. So I'll blame him. I'll put the other hat on, the writer hat, and blame it on that guy. All right, guys. So I think that's gonna do it. So you don't have anything else, right?
Nope. I'm just going to ask you guys. We would really appreciate if you would give us some constructive criticism, put some stuff in the comments, and like and share. We're trying to get the channel out there more. We really appreciate everybody that watches, and just let us know what you're thinking. Yep.
Yeah, the channel's doing pretty well. It's got some subscribers coming in, quite a few in the last few days. A comment or two, which we greatly appreciate that. So we kind of know where we're going, and trying to get better all the time. I struggle with the reading. I apologize, but trying to get better all the time, and get the info out there correctly, and hopefully you learn something from it. So if that's the case and you learn something, like you said, hit the like and the thumbs up. We greatly appreciate it. So until next time, stay safe, stay curious, and remember to always mind your surroundings. Bye.
Bye.